A stay-at-home order. Safer at home order. Movement control order. Quarantine, isolation, quarantine, lockdown or strict social distancing measures. Stay-at-home orders have colloquially been referred to as quarantine or lockdown, but some officials have a concern that the word lockdown may send a wrong message for people to incorrectly think that it includes door-to-door searching for infected people to be forced into quarantines. Similar to the Hubei lockdown, the term lockdown was used by the media and the World Health Organization to describe the action taken in January 2020 by the government of China to restrict movements of people in order to control the outbreak of coronavirus disease 2019 in Wuhan. When Italian authorities imposed a strict quarantine order in the northern part of the country, the media also used the term lockdown, which was used for Spain and France, as well as other countries around the world. Although it is not a technical term in public health or laws, the media continued to use lockdown to describe the actions taken by these governments. As the lockdowns were expanded to other countries, there was a shift in the definitions. Measures are less restrictive and other terms emerged in attempts to differentiate from the most restrictive measure in China. When the authorities in San Francisco Bay Area in the United States issued an order in March 2020 for residents to stay home to control the outbreak of COVID-19, they called it a shelter-in-place order. People were not familiar with it as the term shelter-in-place had been used in other emergency situations such as an active shooter which would require seeking a safe place to hide within the same building that the person already occupies until the situation is resolved. This caused confusion to the residents under the order on what exactly they are supposed to do. When Governor Gavin Newsom announced the statewide order for California, United States, which would supersede the Bay Area's order on March 19, he used the term stay-at-home order instead. Other U.S. states started using the new term when they announced their statewide order. In a press conference, Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York criticized anyone using the term shelter-in-place for his stay-at-home order as it would invoke panic due to its association with active shooting situations or nuclear wars. In the United States and Canada, the term lockdown has been widely used in emergency preparedness. A lockdown procedure requires immediate actions in hiding and locking all doors. Additional actions may be taken such as turning off lights and staying away from windows. Students in all grade levels around the country participate in lockdown drills on a regular basis. The word lockdown can also be associated with martial law to mean that people cannot leave their homes. In an attempt to avoid confusion, Mayor Lori Lightfoot of Chicago made a comment about the stay-at-home order of Illinois by trying to differentiate it from a lockdown or a martial law. When states and counties across the United States issued an order to have residents remain home, they either called it a shelter-in-place order or stay-at-home order. It has been clarified that these orders are not lockdowns because residents are allowed to go in and out of their homes in limited circumstances. Some jurisdictions have determined that there is a legal or practical distinction between the terms stay-at-home and shelter-in-place. In Melbourne and Sydney, the term ISO, shortened from self-isolation, is often colloquially used by young people to refer to stay-at-home orders. In the United States constitutional law gives police power to the states. State governments can use this power within their own state. However, there is no clear authority for either the federal government or state governments to impose a lockdown between states. In terms of legality of an order, the government must be able to prove that the order advances a compelling government interest, and the actions are narrow enough to specifically achieve that goal and they are not unnecessarily broad. The scope of lockdowns or stay-at-home orders can vary. There is no universal definition of what is deemed essential. Some orders allow residents to come out for outdoor activities. When residents come out of the house, the social distancing rules are typically applied. Some examples of essential services are banks, gas stations, grocery stores, medical offices, pharmacies, and restaurants. In more restrictive measures in some locations, they require residents to carry paperwork in order to go out and perform essential tasks. Public officials have been ambivalent about China's lockdown to combat COVID-19. First criticizing it as unethical and ineffective and then later praising it. Some officials insist that public trust is required for the orders to be effective. Otherwise, the orders may be evaded. Numerous stay-at-home orders. Curfew.